Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Network 216 pregame show. Browns and Ravens are going to kick it off here in about 2 hours from Cleveland Browns Stadium. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Mr. Eddie McDonald. I'm sure we're going to have other members from the Network 216 crew that are going to join throughout the show. Eddie, how you doing today, my man?
I'm good. It's been a good weekend. Got to chill with my boys Friday. Got to go to a wedding Saturday for one of my other good friends. Then playing a dart tournament. Now it's Browns football day. And there's a lot of things happening before this game. A lot.
That's an understatement. We're going to get to all of it. We're still going to talk about the game, but there's a lot of news that we have to get to before that. First off, guys, as always, drop a like on the video. It's completely free to do that. Really helps that YouTube algorithm grow, and subscribe if you're brand new to Network 216. Trying to reach 3,000 subscribers right now before the end of the year. We're at 2,100, and that seems like it's far away, but with your guys' support, we can get there pretty quickly. So we really would appreciate that support. Also, as a reminder, you guys can watch the show not only on YouTube, but also on the Lockerverse app. The link is in the description for you guys. The link is also on Twitter for you guys to be able to check it out. Join us on Lockerverse, completely free. And that's also where you can find quarterback Deshaun Watson's weekly show with Quincy Avery, Quarterback Unplugged. New episodes are every week, only on Lockerverse. You want to make sure that you tune in for that. All right, Eddie. I feel like we can start off with the biggest news, but yeah, let's just go there because we did have some good news that we're able to get to. So let's go to first the only negative news, I would say. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will not play this week due to a shoulder contusion. He did not throw he threw some this week. Didn't do much, light throwing. Dorian Thompson-Robinson got all the reps. So first off, are you worried about Deshaun Watson long-term? And do you think this is the right decision? Because, listen, Deshaun Watson's not missed a game. Deshaun Watson's not missed any games until he tore his ACL with Houston. So this is the first game he's going to miss. He's played through cracked ribs, bruised lung. He's played through a lot of injuries. But this one, it's a contusion. So essentially it's a bruised throwing shoulder. So are you worried about this? Same for you, Casey. Are you guys worried about this injury lingering? Or do you think this is the right decision going with the rookie quarterback today?
I think it's the right decision because I think they knew earlier in this week before any of us ever found out about it, before any of the media that reported it and we saw that. I think they knew about this, because I didn't even think about it, but that play, he lowers his shoulder and goes into the dude on a run. And that's not what he normally does. That's not what he should be doing, but he did it. And then, he couldn't throw. I think they said today, someone said he couldn't throw more, or he didn't throw a pass more than 10 yards.
Correct. Okay. Yep. He threw one for 10 yards. The rest they said so the way he did it today, for his on-field workout, he loosened up his arm and whatnot, but then he threw 3 5-yard passes, talked to the trainer and Stefanski, threw 3 more 5-yard passes, talked to the trainer and Stefanski, and then he threw like 1 10-yard pass, and then that was it.
Yeah, so I think it's the right decision today because there's a bye next week. That'll give him almost 3 full weeks of rest in a sense. So that will be from last week to this week and then next week. I think that's good, and I just want to say that DTR, while he was electric in the preseason, this is not ideal to start a rookie quarterback, but hey, it's next man up, and I think he can do well, but I'm not expecting a lot from him, honestly.
I'm worried that he only progressed this much in 6 days. In 6 days, he's only throwing 5-yard passes, 10-yard passes. To me, that's troublesome. That's worrisome. The bye does afford him extra time to get healthy. Man, there was a huge opportunity in this for Watson. If he could have went, today was the day to go. He made a big step last week. To see nothing happen now this week, that's disappointing. But obviously, his health is paramount. But my biggest concern is, okay, so he gets this week off, he gets next week off. Is he going to change up his playing style when he does come back against the 49ers, who will put pads on you? Because if not, we're right back in the same situation. You know what I mean? If he doesn't change up his playing style and is able to avoid the unnecessary hits, I do believe this affects play calling going forward because designed runs, if homie's not going to slide, you can't be calling him, So I think that leads into this. But there is what does this look like today with DTR? How's the playbook different? How's the play calling different? Without Nick Chubb, they're not going to be able to just rely on a running game. They're going to have to figure out a way to stay up with the sticks because you can't let this kid get in 3rd and long. So, yeah, I'm disappointed Watson couldn't go today. Overall, it's the right call. If you can't make 5-10 yard passes without discomfort, you shouldn't be out in an NFL game. But I think this brings up larger questions down the road.
I think the biggest thing for me in this is we got reports that he was going to play yesterday, that he was going to play here. I don't know until I could be wrong on this. So I'm not an insider. I'm not claiming to be an insider. I almost wonder, Stefanski and Andrew Berry were watching this morning. If he wasn't 100%, why put him out there? He hadn't taken the majority of the reps all week. DTR was more game prepared for this than Watson. You have the bye coming up. I almost wonder if they talked to Watson and they convinced him and Watson agreed, let's take this off. Let's take this week off, heal up, and be ready to go after the bye. Do you guys think that's accurate, or what do you guys think on that? Because we know with a previous starting quarterback we had here, how that whole thing went down.
Yeah.
Do you think something changed today? Do you think that this was Watson's call and Watson said he shouldn't go? Or do you think they all agreed, including Watson, were like, you know what? I'm not 100% in this game. Let's hold off and get 100% right coming out of the bye.
Yeah, I think it was a joint effort. I think this has been in place more of the week than we were aware of, because it came up Wednesday or Thursday that he's not practicing. Everyone's like, oh, okay. And then he's not practicing. And then he throws a couple passes here and there, and DTR's taking most of the reps. I think it was a combined effort. They are all invested in this for $230 million over the next 4 years and potentially longer. So it's very smart for them to shut him down for now, because as you said, we have seen this song and dance before. Baker set for a game, but his was a little bit different. His was a little bit different of an injury, but it's still in the shoulder. In case you asked what they're going to do with DTR, I think you do the same as what you did last week with Watson. It's not like Watson went out there and lit it up. Like he had his best game, but just give those quick short passes to DTR. Let him get in a little bit of rhythm, and then let him see the speed of this, because it's different speed than the preseason that he saw. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think this was a joint effort. I think this has been done earlier this week, and they said, all right, maybe on Sunday if you can go out there and throw the ball a little bit, and then we'll start you. If not, we're sitting you. You're a big.
It sounds like, before you jump in, Casey, it sounds like the real good news with this, and this is by there's more than one person reporting this. It sounds like it really just is a contusion. It is just a bruise on your throwing shoulder, which of course is going to be painful because you need that full range of motion in order to throw the ball. So, same question to you. Do you think this was a joint effort? Or do you think that they basically told Watson, we're going to sit you, you're not 100%, we're going to sit you, and we'll have you ready coming out of the bye?
Yeah, it had to be a collaborative effort as far as the deciding factor, whether he was going to go today or not. But I think the one thing that I wish would have gotten brought up when the media was there for the press conferences with Kevin is, did Deshaun Watson have an MRI? That question never got asked. And I think it's massively important, for us with PTSD from the last quarterback that we had this whole fiasco with, because if there's nothing structural and it is truly just a bruise, then it's about discomfort. And if that discomfort is limiting his ability to push the ball downfield, and then it is what it is. If it's too sore for him to throw, then yes, this is the right decision, and they're right to sit him if it's that much discomfort. But we haven't gotten that answered. If there was an MRI taken on Deshaun Watson's throwing shoulder, if there's something structural, we could be facing way bigger problems. And to me, this is a lose-lose for Deshaun Watson. If the Browns go out there today and struggle because DTR is a rookie and he's overwhelmed, it's going to be, well, Deshaun couldn't go, and then that's as far as the Browns can go. But if DTR plays well, the can of worms that gets opened over these next 2 weeks, man, the talking points are going to be endless. You're not going to be able to shut people up if DTR goes out there and has, even if it's 75% of what Watson did last week, if DTR shows that in his very first start, man, it's going to get awfully loud.
Social media is going to be unbearable. I want the Browns to win so badly, but but you just know if they win and he looks remotely good, everyone's going to it's going to be really annoying these next 2 weeks.
Yep.
By the way, guys, we're not ignoring you in the comments. We're trying to we had to get through at least the biggest part of this news because it's all everyone is talking about right now. So going back to DTR, are you guys, because we're going to get to game predictions obviously at the end of the show, are you guys confident in Dorian Thompson-Robinson today that he can win this game against the Ravens? Even though, again, keep in mind the Ravens, and we're going to get to that too, they are very, very beat up. Do you think is there enough? Can DTR do enough today to win this game for the Browns?
Just the prerequisite skill set that he has. I think, yes, he's skilled enough that he can. He had more reps than any quarterback you'll ever find in college, but this is the pros. There's going to be some moments in this game where it's not going to look smooth, where it's not going to look good. But at the end of the day, even with Watson playing, I was putting this game on the defense. This was just based on the way it was going to line up. If the Browns defense goes out there and plays the way they've been playing, yeah, DTR could win this game. I don't see why not. I mean, if they can hold the Ravens under 14 points, DTR better win this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year, we saw it. Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs was here, but Jacoby Brissett. We saw what he could do. He didn't do much, but if he had this defense, then the Browns are over 500 by the time Watson comes back. I think that could be here too. I don't think he has to do anything crazy. He had a great preseason. We were all hyped for it. Just do the little things because the defense should carry you to this win. They've carried the Browns up to this point to this season. Last week was more of a joint effort, but they were dominant defensively, allowing 94 yards. So I think if you just rely on your defense, and you can now finally, DTR doesn't have to do much. So the game can just sort of come to him instead of him having to go out there and, I'm the starter now. I got to fill in for Watson. I can't lose and play all nervous. So I think he definitely can. I don't know it's hard to know what to expect from him, really.
So Rocky says, if DTR balls out today, do we have an issue? No. Well, I'm not even going to entertain that. Also, he says, does NFL players don't take shots anymore? Okay. I don't think there's a reason I don't think they take cortisone shots anymore because those are those don't help. It gets away the pain while doing more damage. That's all it is. If anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to drop them in the chat as well. But, I mean, I think with DTR, I kind of agree with you, Eddie, from the standpoint. I expect to see similar to what we saw last week. But the question with DTR, and this is his biggest question as an NFL pro, can he hit the deep ball from time to time? Can he keep a defense honest there? That's what I want to see. I don't know if he can. And that's not a knock again. There's just some quarterbacks that that they're short game quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Cody Kessler's a prime example. But and they can sometimes throw middle of the field pretty accurately. DTR was not super accurate at UCLA. He used his legs a lot in order to extend plays. I expect to see some DTR runs today. Yeah. I think they're going to be cautious of how much they do that. But you're going to have P.J. Walker. You're going to have him active as well. And I think P.J. Walker, if worse comes to worse, he could step into a job. He's proven he can play in the NFL. I expect to see the similar offense, but I'll be honest, guys, where I'm worried, and I talked about this on Sports for CLE, this running game worries me, and now it worries me even more. I don't know if I trust Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt enough to where they need to carry DTR in this game. And that's my biggest worry. I don't know if those two can carry Dorian Thompson-Robinson in this offense.
Those are legitimate concerns. I mean, for all the Ravens are banged up. Let's be real. I mean, the Ojabo's out, but the middle of this defense is legit, man. From Michael Pierce and Matabuke, Travis Jones, all the way back to their safeties, the middle of this defense is legit, and they can stop a run. I don't think they're quite as good of a run defense as Tennessee, but they're not far off. And for this offense to have success with DTR, this running game's got to show up today. These boys got to block up front. It's got to be crisp. You cannot put this kid in 3rd and longs. That's when the bad things will happen. He's a rookie, man. There's just things he hasn't seen yet at this level, and I'm not saying he can't succeed. I'm just saying there's a higher margin of error when you have a rookie quarterback back there, and if it goes bad, it can start to cascade. You know what I mean? So it's all about staying up with the sticks. And they're going to have to play phone booth offense, but he's going to have to take deep shots to keep them honest. They don't necessarily have to hit them, but they have to show that that is a possibility and that you have to guard every blade of grass. If not, you're going to let that defense condense and come down, and you're going to end up with a lot of Kyle Hamilton in the box, and that is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't necessarily trust it, and I didn't really trust it after Chubb went down, and I really didn't trust it coming into the season because different shows that I did over the summer, my own, some of your guys' shows and stuff. I said outside of Chubb, the room is not anything special, and everyone's like, "Oh, Jerome Ford, yeah, that's great. We have Jerome Ford, and he's played well in the absence of Chubb, but obviously he's not Nick Chubb. But there's a reason he only got a few carries last year. Like we still don't know anything about him yet as a pro. We think he could step in and we think he can do well, but we don't know. But that running back room is weak, and I thought that outside of Chubb coming into this season, and now obviously the worst fear came to fruition. The nightmare came alive, and it just I don't know. I don't trust it a lot. I think we'll see Kareem Hunt get better as the weeks go on, but I think a lot of people just expected Kareem Hunt to come in here and do year 2 in Cleveland Kareem Hunt things where he almost rushed for 1,000 yards. And that just wasn't going to be a thing right out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I still think it's going to take Kareem Hunt maybe a couple weeks to even get back up to NFL speed. I mean, because I actually think for Kareem Hunt, the bye week is coming at the worst possible time, personally, because this is a guy that really needs a lot of game reps. Mm-hmm. I saw something in the chat here, and I'm ignoring the average, but I did also say I would love to see Pierre Strong more involved because I think he adds a different dimension to this offense because he's that speed threat that I think if Pierre Strong gets a handoff, he could take it to the house. I don't think Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford can do that. I think Pierre Strong has the speed to do that. But I think the reality is, too, is this offensive line going to be good enough to run the football? Because that's the other thing, too. Don't get me wrong. Jerome Ford needs to be better. Kareem Hunt needs to be better. Is this offensive line going to be good enough to run the football? Because so far this year, the Browns, outside of Nick Chubb, have struggled mightily trying to run the ball this year.
Yeah, like I said, they're stout inside, so this comes down to the interior. To me, Wyatt Teller, Matabuke, that's a dangerous matchup right there in itself. Travis Jones can plug a gap. Those linebackers are legit. They fill their lanes. It's going to be tough sledding, man, but you have to do it. You can't shy away from it. You have to go right into the teeth of it. That's the question. No, you're 100% right, man. Is this offensive line going to be able to carry the weight? Because that's what it's going to take this week. It's going to take – man, this game just keeps getting uglier and uglier the more I think about it. I just think it's going to be a tooth and nail. I think field goals are going to decide it, and they have Justin Tucker. Now, Tucker's not been automatic.
Hopkins, though.
I know. Yeah. I named that as a matchup, man. D-Hop versus Tuck. And Tucker hasn't been automatic. He's had a down year for him. For most kickers, he's straight, but for him, he's missed twice, and that usually doesn't happen over the course of a season for him. It's just tooth and nail, a lot of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I don't even know what I consider success, man, as far as running the ball. If they were to 3.8 average, I think that's probably about what to expect, and that sucks to say out loud what we're used to, but I think that's what it's going to take today, man.
Yeah, I don't know about this offensive line. So last year it started to take a hit, and everyone just we still have the best line in the league. Not really. Now this year they're injured, and then everyone hates Jedrick Wills, and everyone thought DeJuan Jones was just going to be the next great, tackle in this league or whatever. But it's suspect right now. This whole roster right now with Watson out is more suspect than outside the defense. The offensive side of the ball is just completely suspect at this point. There's no Watson today, a rookie starting for him. How are they going to protect him? If they don't protect him, then he's going to have a long night and he's going to get flustered in that cascade, like you said, Casey. Boom, here it comes. The avalanche is coming, and Baltimore will pile it on if we're able to. So I do think this offensive line can still be good, but at some point we've got to figure out the next solution to this because it's not going to get any better there's no one to bring in right now. You're not really trading for anyone. So it is what it is, and luckily for Watson, when he plays, he's able to escape the pocket. He welcomes that. He likes to get out and move. Maybe DTR will too. But there's a lot of questions on this offensive line right now.
Yeah, Yeah, there are a lot of questions. The Browns did get some good news today. So, for those in the chat that weren't aware, didn't see it, David Njoku was listed on the injury report yesterday. I did not see this until like 5 o'clock because I was at a Kentucky football game and had no phone service. So David Njoku ended up on the injury report because he suffered some burns from his fire pit, apparently. He showed up today wearing a mask, literally, like a Halloween mask, which was kind of funny. But Kevin Stefanski said last night if he can put on a helmet, they have to see if he can put on a helmet and it not cause any issues. The Browns are going to have David Njoku active today. It looks like Diana Rossini has reported that he will play. How much of a lift is this to have David Njoku playing, especially given that he is one of the better run blockers on this team? I think it's a boost, but at the same time, get the man involved in the offense because right now he shouldn't have 90 receiving yards and he should have a lot more than 11 targets. You want to unlock the offense, guys. David Njoku has to be more involved because there are not many defenses that have players that can actually cover this physical specimen one-on-one.
It'll be interesting to see how the target distribution goes with DTR. We don't know. I mean, other than these practices, we don't know how many reps he's had with the actual ones, up until this point. So that's something to look at. But you bring up a huge point in the run game. Yeah, he's going to be huge in that effort. You know what I mean? Like, we don't talk about it enough. That dude was allergic to blocking when he got to Cleveland, and what he's been able to transform himself into in the run game's admirable. But this is also year 7 of us saying, hey, man, maybe they should get him more involved in the passing game. And it's just Groundhog Day every time. Athletically, what he can do up the seams, I do think for the rookie quarterback, a tight end can be your best friend. It could be that security blanket. It'd be interesting to see if Njoku can be that for DTR today.
Yeah, you said it best, Casey. He's in year 7, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, this is the year. Yeah, Watson's here and all this stuff. We know who David Njoku is. He's not going to transform into superstardom just because we all want him to, because we think he can. Because he's has the athleticism to do so. But getting him more involved will, I think, ultimately benefit not only DTR today, but I think it benefits Watson later. We saw him with tight ends in Houston, and this could be the same thing, especially in the red zone. He's a big target in the red zone. Yet, I don't know. There's a disconnect there somewhere because only 11 targets through 3 weeks. Something's happening. I don't know what exactly it is, or maybe he's open and Watson's not seeing him, or maybe he's just not getting open. Or maybe there's not enough plays where he's designed to get open. He's just blocking. But this, like you said, Casey, is a quarterback's best friend. It could be especially a rookie quarterback. And if he's able to make a few big plays and get that crowd going, that'll get DTR's confidence up, and then the offense can hopefully get on a roll.
Yeah. I've said for a while, I just think he needs to be a bigger point of this offense. It just doesn't – he's just that big of a mismatch, and I really think he just needs the ball more, and I think he could be a great safety blanket for DTR in this game. We're about to get some inactives that are about to come in. So the other good piece of news, gentlemen, outside of Deshaun Watson, the Browns are healthy. I don't know if I can remember any time – now, again, I'm only 27, so I'm not trying to seem like I'm old or anything, but I can't remember any other time in my lifetime that – this far into the season, there's been any team in the NFL that has had basically no injuries. It's absolutely incredible to me how this Browns team, and these games have been hard fought, especially you talk about Pittsburgh in the trenches. This one will be too. Tennessee, how they play. And any AFC North game is a battle in the trenches. And these guys are coming out and still, some of them are limited throughout the week. So, because that's going to happen. It's remarkable what this training staff has done this year. It seems like this is night and day compared to last year.
Yeah, when the practice report came out that everyone on the 53 was practicing, I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I don't think I have.
I don't think I have. So, yeah, you're right in that respect. But I would say this. The Ravens are littered with injuries. I would trade all that to have Nick Chubb.
Amen.
So unfortunately there's a trade-off. But, yeah. For all things considered, everyone able to go except for the quarterback, which I don't know. The more and more I think about it, yeah, the training staff's done an excellent job, but man, these injuries that they do have came at horrible times to the most important positions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw Conklin mentioned. I mean, yeah, I'm not okay. The only reason I'm not taking Conklin into account, that was week 1. Like, I'm talking about right now, guys. So anyone in the chat, I'm referring to right now that this team is outside of Jack Conklin and Watson today healthy.
Well, normally it'd be a ton of soft tissue injuries and pulls and things like that, hamstrings. Those are the things that we would normally be riddled with. So those are the things we should give credit to the training staff and the approach by the coaching staff on giving these veterans rest days off, because that's what they've been limited with. When you see them limited, it's rest. It isn't injuries. It isn't the hamstrings and the groins and the things that we're used to seeing, which by this, like you said, normally this time we'd have 4 or 5 guys who just weren't practicing because they were dinged up from soft tissue stuff.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just remarkable to me. And I think too, there was a lot of criticism, and I think there still rightfully is, about playing your starters in the preseason, because I mean, as we saw, Watson did look rusty to start the year. Some other guys took a little while to get started. But the other side of it is what we're seeing now. You have guys that are healthy at week 4 in the season, pretty much your entire roster. And I think too, because I've heard this on radio programs, I'm not going to mention what, just because I'm not going to be that person, but you guys might already know what I'm talking about, saying, why are some of these guys not practicing every single day during the week? Like, why are they resting? Something's clearly working. I mean, so like,
they go through literal car crashes every play that they play.
Exactly.
Crashes. Like, the force that these guys hit each other with. No, see, this is just.
I'm just telling you, man.
I saw someone on Twitter earlier this week when we heard about Njoku. Why do the Browns players always have to do something stupid? He was lighting a fire pit and something, malfunctioned in that. That could literally happen to everyone. That's not anything dangerous at all. That could happen anytime to anyone lighting a fire. Some of these comments that people make, I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Let me peel back the curtain. I broke my ankle yesterday morning leaving my house for work.
Did you really?
Just walking out of a door. I'll send you guys pictures in the team chat later. Yeah, it's gnarly. Anything, dude, life happens. People, they don't just go home and stay in these bubbles where nothing, you know what I mean? He was lighting a fire, man. I wasn't there. I can't tell you what happened. But dude, it wasn't like he was out like ramping over with dirt bikes. Like these guys, they're just, people need to cut them slack. They're humans, man. They got to cut loose. They got to do something for fun. And it's unfortunate that he burned his face. I do think the mask choice that he walked in with was kind of weird.
I like it.
I thought it was hilarious.
It's spooky season. It is spooky season.
So, that's odd. I will be interested to see if he has like some sort of head wrap under his helmet. But yeah, man, cut these guys some slack. They're humans. They got to cut loose. They live their lives. No big deal.
Dude, exactly. Like I have ankle injuries too from time to time. Dude, I could just be walking and just twist my ankle. Just walk into the fridge. That's pretty sad, but it still happens. Anyway, before we get to the Browns and actives, one piece of non-Browns news that I just think is something to celebrate. Damar Hamlin is going to be active for the Bills today for the first time since his incident. So that's incredible. I honestly, it just leaves me speechless because I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just great stories in sports, man, and that's one of them.
Well, he's already wrapped up the comeback player of the year then.
100%. 100%. Just for that alone. All right. Browns inactives have been released. Deshaun Watson, of course, like we talked about, is inactive. Tight end Zaire Mitchell-Payton, who was called up for this game, is inactive because, again, if you're just joining us, David Njoku is going to play today. Cornerback Khalif Hassi, he is inactive today. Center Luke Whippler, Isaiah McGuire, Siaki Ika. And anything, I assume the answer will be obvious, but anything on that list surprise you as far as inactives today?
No, but I am curious to when Ika is going to make his debut. Is this health or is this just not needed? Is it not a necessity? The defensive tackle room's been playing so well that there just might not be room for him on the active roster, which is crazy considering where we were when they had to draft him. to where we are right now, where it's like, yeah, we don't even need you.
Does this say more, Casey, on Jordan Elliott?
I think it does. I think this is Jordan Elliott and Maurice Hurst playing to that level as depth that you don't need the guy you drafted in the 3rd round. Don't even need him. It's just
Maurice Hurst has been one of the better signings from Andrew Berry this offseason. And it's one of those ones that at first everyone's like, well, who the hell's that dude? Like, who's Maurice Hurst? And then you look at it and he's like hurt and stuff and all these different things. And I'm just like, oh, okay, like I guess if it pans out, and now it's panning out. Like
exactly.
It's panning out, and it's really one of those. I don't know if I want to call it one of the best of Andrew Berry. I think I should have said underrated because it adds that depth to this room. We don't even have to have the 3rd round pick. For the past few years, we've all seen these guys in the draft, and they've been stolen by Andrew Berry, and we just expect them to be Pro Bowlers and all pros when they first get in the league because we as fans love them. That's just not realistic. But here you can move Iko along, and if he's needed, boom, you can fill him in when necessary. But so far, Jordan Elliott has played, pretty darn good. And then, Maurice Hurst has been, a nice addition. And then everyone else they have on that line. So I think that Ika is in a great spot because he doesn't have to come in and be relied on.
Exactly. Same with Isaiah McGuire, too. That's another one. I was excited about him, and we still haven't seen him. But anyway, anyone who's been a part of the Network 216 YouTube channel and tuned into our shows, they knew about Maurice Hurst early because we thought that was a pretty underrated addition if he can stay healthy. Anyway, the Ravens inactives are out, and they are something. Okay. We knew about Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman. Marcus Williams, who did practice this week, is out for the Ravens. That's huge.
Huge.
Marlon Humphrey, out. Ronnie Stanley, out. Odafe Owe, out. And they put David Ajabo on IR and quarterback Josh Johnson. So first off, guys, real quick, before we get to that, we have 57 people watching right now, so thank you guys so much. Very simple. Just drop a like on this video. I know 12 of you have. If you have not, just please go over to YouTube. Go over right now on the channel. Drop a like onto this live stream. We really would appreciate that. Very easy to do. It's free and helps that algorithm grow. So please go drop a like on the video. But guys, if you're going to get Baltimore with a backup quarterback, this is it. Yeah. You have a golden opportunity in front of you because Baltimore might be more beat up right now than any single team in the NFL. Every single player I mentioned to you is a starter for the Ravens. Yes, every single player.
Marcus Williams, that's the one that sticks out, though, because because when they have Geno Stone and Marcus Williams, that allows them to use Kyle Hamilton sort of in that Grant Delpit role where he can kind of be anywhere, be in the slot, be that overhang, the guy that's blitzing. He had 3 sacks last week, for Christ's sakes. This makes him play more in position. You know what I mean? This takes away some of that freedom to just let him be that rover, that monster back that just kind of does a little bit of everything. And Williams is a player, man, so him not going is huge. They're decimated, man. I know the Browns are starting a rookie quarterback, but you're not going to catch the Ravens at a better time than you are today. This is your best shot. You got him at home. Man, this defense has to ball out. You're getting a very depleted offense. They don't have weapons on the outside. It's going to be Zay Flowers and the ghost of Nelson Aguilar, a receiver. If you were ever going to get him, man, this is the day to do it.
They still have Mark Andrews, though.
Yeah. And Isaiah likely. Their 12 personnel is still going to be stout, and it's still Lamar, so the middle of the field's still the issue. But they don't, this is going to change their play calling. They're going to be playing in a phone booth too. Let's be real. They're not going to be explosive. They're going to have to drive the ball 75 yards on this defense if the Browns do not turn the ball over in their end. That's
welcome
the key.
Ravens fans to the chat, by the way. No, seriously. Welcome Ravens fans. Hoping for a good game today. Wish you guys the best. Just be civil in the chat. That's all we ask. Thank you.
They're actually my favorite of the AFC North fan bases to interact with because they don't say much. They
really don't.
And Cincinnati thinks about us, for weeks on end. And Pittsburgh, their fans are just morons, and I can't stand them. And I love the city of Pittsburgh, but their fan base I can't stand. But the Ravens are actually somewhat cordial and cool. Obviously, there's going to be a handful of others, but I've never had really terrible interaction with Ravens fans. They just realize that, they know that they've been the better team for, the past 2 decades. So it's okay, who cares? and they just go about their business. But the other two fan bases, no. But yeah, so shout out to Ravens fans in here. I see Steelers baby in the thing. I don't like that.
Yeah, I'll say this, man, because I do agree with you most on fan bases, but not every fan is that way. Like,
right, no, not every fan. We're always in a bubble. I always talk about the bubble. We're in Brown's bubble, right? So we see any iteration of good, bad, ugly to very ugly in that. And teams do the same thing. Because a lot of Browns fans don't realize there are 31 other teams in the NFL. They all have fan bases that are just as passionate as we are. We just happen to be in that bubble where there's more focus on the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. No, exactly agree with that. So here's a good question for you guys. I do think the Browns defense will give up a touchdown today because I've said it. I get it. They're depleted, but Lamar Jackson's Lamar. And he seems to always find a way, especially against the Browns. He scores a lot of touchdowns against the Browns, even if they don't give up a lot of yards. Do you guys think Lamar can do enough to keep the Ravens in this game today? Given how depleted the offense is, given how stout this Browns defense has been so far this year, do you guys think Lamar can do enough to keep the Ravens in this game today?
In the game, yes, because I don't think there's going to be a high-scoring affair. I don't think it's going to get out of reach. Now, if you were to design a script to make it that way to where you can do something, you get up early on this Ravens team and make Lamar one-dimensional, and you have a much better shot. But I think they're going to be within the flow of the game the whole time. I think first team to 20 wins this thing.
If we even get to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No.
No, Lamar can absolutely, he can single-handedly beat you in the game. So there's always that possibility. Now it's on the defense to step up. I know he doesn't have his outside weapons, but he still has Mark Andrews. If Mark Andrews gets going at all, in any way, shape, or form, this could be a long day. And I don't know if it gets to that point, but Lamar absolutely can keep them in this game and then win them the game, especially because, as Casey mentioned earlier, they have Justin Tucker behind him when they need him to come in late to kick a 50-something yard field goal. I know we have, Dustin Hopkins, we talked about him, but the question was about Lamar. I absolutely think he can win this game. I think Lamar gets slept on, and I'm real tired of the nonsense regarding Lamar. And obviously, I'm not a Ravens fan by any means. I love Lamar Jackson. He's a former MVP, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's nothing. He's this and that." What do you mean he's a former MVP? Oh, he hasn't finished this season. Okay, he didn't finish the last two seasons. We're not in that season anymore. So he absolutely can. He can beat you mostly with his legs, but he can also beat you with his arm. And that's I think he gets a lot of flack for not being able to throw deep ball. He can throw with the best of them. It's just that's not how he's designed. Like, that's not how his game is modified to. It's get out of the pocket. If you can make a play, take off. If not, you can make whatever throw to Mark Andrews.
Here's a good question, because we've talked about this, at least on our show. Did the Ravens make the right hire at offensive coordinator for Lamar Jackson?
No, sir. No, sir. Square peg, round hole, man. But because of the injuries, they're going to be forced to go back to his style anyway. They're not going to have the threats on the outside. They're going to have to use the middle of the field. That's Lamar's wheelhouse, baby. He'll kill you between the hashes. And so I think the injuries have limited. And you saw them kind of go back last week. He had 11 scripted runs. Yeah, they're kind of getting back into that. So no, I don't think Monken was the right hire. I've seen a lot of people high on it. I just look at what Monken did the last time he was in the pros. I know he was our offensive coordinator, but not really. He was there in title alone. But the last time he actually was in charge of calling plays for an offense, it was that Tampa Bay team where Jameis threw 30 and 30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think that's the guy you're going to go pair with Lamar Jackson. I was happy that they did, to be honest with you. I thought that might stunt his development or make him less effective at what he's really good at. So, yeah, I don't think that was the move.
I enjoyed it when they hired Todd Monken. I thought it was hilarious. It just made no sense to me whatsoever. And again, I'm not saying Lamar can't throw. I just think you want to hire an offensive coordinator that's going to play to your quarterback's strengths. And let's be honest, Todd Monken, the best he's looked in the NFL is when Jameis Winston was his quarterback, just slinging the ball, throwing 25 picks a game. But the dude was just slinging the ball deep to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin at every play. So that's the best he's really looked. He was successful in college. I'll give him that. He was actually really good as a college offensive coordinator with a lot of talent there. We have a great question by Rocky once again. Again, if any of you guys have other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat as we're getting closer and closer to our game predictions. So how much, considering the Ravens' injuries, does not having Deshaun Watson increase the degree of difficulty today?
I think it tightens everything up on defense, honestly. I think that the major emphasis is going to go to the defensive side of the ball for the Browns now. I'm saying they knew, because the Browns could be explosive with Watson. We don't know that with DTR. They might have to go on long drives to score. We'll see how it plays out. But I think the defensive intensity is going to be kicked up a notch today because they know they don't have a safety net of all the Browns might go out and hit a big play or two. We don't know that, man. It's going to be, like I said, man, 20 points will win this game today.
It's going to come down to, Rocky, it's going to come down to this defense. And I feel like we've said that for a while. It's where we're at. This team is going to be led by this defense. And not having Ronnie Staley is a huge loss, again, for Baltimore. They get Tyler Linderbaum back. That's a boost for them. Mm-hmm. The big thing is, can you get Lamar down? Because Lamar's going to extend plays. Can you still stay in? We have not played a quarterback like Lamar Jackson this year. There aren't many quarterbacks like Lamar. But what he does well, he extends plays when it breaks down. I expect a lot of plays to break down today. Can the Browns contain Lamar Jackson? Can they not let him run for 15, 10 yards, extend plays like that? Can they not let Mark Andrews get behind this defense? Because the Browns need to know where Mark Andrews is at every point in this game. Because Lamar's going to extend, and when Mark Andrews does, much like Travis Kelce does, he will run his own route and just get open and find a hole in the defense. So it's going to come down to this Browns defense today. Regardless if Watson was playing or not, I still think it was going to come down to this defense today against Lamar.
Absolutely, it would have, because no matter what, it's always going to be stopping Lamar Jackson when he's playing the Ravens. Yes, obviously we have to score more points, but we've had Baker Mayfield at quarterback here. We've had Jacoby Brissett at quarterback against the Ravens. You know, was Deshaun there at all last year? No. Either way.
He beat the Ravens last year.
Oh, that's right. So he beat the Ravens last year. So we've seen all these different quarterbacks against the Ravens, but the constant key factor is stopping Lamar Jackson, and especially stopping Mark Andrews, because if you can take him away, then you really don't have many options left for Lamar. Yeah, Isaiah Likely's there. Was it Zay Flowers? I like him.
Zay Flowers, Devin Duvernay, who has done some things against the Browns last couple times we played him.
Duvernay's dangerous in the return game, man. That's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And our return game isn't that great, by the way. Just since you said return game, it just drew me to that. And just like sometimes I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like,
I mean, it's seriously going to be a good game today. So for the Ravens, we know they're going to have Mark Andrews. They're going to have Zay Flowers, who I think Zay Flowers is going to end up being pretty good. Noah OBJ, kind of wanted to see his return to Cleveland, but that's not going to happen. What do you guys think, injury-wise today, is the biggest loss for the Ravens? Because, I mean, again, they got a lot of starters out. Yeah. Who's the biggest loss for the Ravens today?
It comes down between Stanley and Marcus Williams for me. Stanley hasn't been playing anyway. He didn't look good week one. He's been injured, so it's going to be Patrick McCarry and a kitchen sink trying to block Myles Garrett. So I think that's going, and that frees up everyone else. I think this could be a big game for Zadarius Smith on Moses over there on the other side. But Marcus Williams, man, that dude's super underrated. He was a guy that I wanted the Browns to target when he was a free agent, but it just didn't come to fruition. But I do think that'll play cast a large shadow, man, because that takes away a lot of what they're able to do. Because this team doesn't, outside of, this sounds sad, outside of Jadeveon Clowney, they don't really do pressures naturally. Pierce has actually done pretty well this year. They manufacture a lot of stuff, and a lot of that's Kyle Hamilton. Roquan will blitz as well, but Kyle Hamilton's a big part of their blitz package when they manufacture pressure, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that without Williams being out there.
I'll say this. How do NFL teams allow the Ravens just to get to these top-notch talents, just fall to them in the draft? Dude, it pisses me off.
Makes me sick.
Hamilton, I can't believe Kyle Hamilton fell that far, and of course he goes to Baltimore.
Yeah. We were just Casey and I just talked about that on my show the other night, how Casey's not allowed to talk about future free agents or future draft picks that the Browns got, because every time he does, they go to the Ravens.
Every time.
Or the Steelers.
Who was it? Was it Kyle Van Noy? Is that who they signed this week?
Yeah, right? they signed Van Noy this week.
Yeah.
And he's active.
Browns had interest in him before.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that had over the past few years have talked about, that connection, and it didn't happen. Of course, he goes to the Ravens, and of course, when they need him most, like he obviously wasn't a starter. He gets signed this week, and now he's playing this week because their defense is depleted. So of course, they get all these good players, and it pisses me off as well, Tyler. It makes me sick. And the Steelers get the same thing, but I feel they get like more so of like an edge rusher and a receiver than anything. And it's just like, okay, enough. Like, I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and Randall says play calling will have to be spot on for the Browns today. Yeah,
it hasn't been bad thus far. I want someone to show me 5 bad play calls from Kevin Stefanski this year through 3 games.
Get your DMs ready.
Oh, dude, yeah. Watch your DMs blow up with like hundreds of people DMing you. Anyway, I'm going to say this. I think the biggest loss for the Ravens today, I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to say it's Marlon Humphrey. I think Marlon Humphrey, like he is paid well, obviously, as a corner in the NFL. I just think he's still one of the best when healthy. I really do. I think he's very solid. He's normally done pretty well against the Browns when he has played. Not having him, good luck guarding Amari Cooper, because Amari Cooper's been statistically one of the best receivers in the NFL this year, and he hasn't even been fully healthy for the most part, it looks like. So now you don't have Marlon Humphrey who can shadow Amari Cooper. I think this is a game too. No one wants to hear it because I want to see Elijah Moore break out too. This is a game where I think Elijah Moore is going to be in the short passing game used a lot, because this is just – you wanted to get him more involved in the vertical passing game. I don't think you're going to see it. I think you're going to see Elijah Moore is going to be used in that short intermediate game. And it's going to be similar to what they did with Watson last week to get him comfortable. They're going to have to do the same thing with DTR this week. Especially with – and I think Amari Cooper is going to play a role too. But I could almost see Amari not having a huge game today because I think DTR is going to be more of the slot guys in the middle of the field today. I think David Bell, this could be David Bell, one of his best games as a Brown. It just sets up for that. So we got about 10 minutes left. Like I said, if anyone has any questions here, put them in the chat, because again, we're going to get to our game picks here very shortly. But guys, what are the keys today for the Browns to win this game in your mind? Again, you're starting a rookie quarterback, first NFL start, going against a veteran team. Again, a lot of injuries, but one thing, the Ravens are like the Steelers, man. They always find ways to win. John Harbaugh is one of the NFL's best coaches. It's amazing that 2 of the best coaches in the NFL are in that AFC North. So what do the Browns have to do to win this game today?
Win the turnover battle. They haven't done it yet this year. They're -5 on the year. This is a game they cannot turn the ball over and give the Ravens a short field, and that's what's going to give them life against this Browns defense. If it comes down to just field position, look, I'll take a good punt over a long interception right now. You know what I mean? Just play it safe, play the field position game, and make the Ravens have to drive on you, because I have faith in Schwartz and this defense that they can keep the Ravens out of the end zone from long plays. So, win the turnover battle, man. You do that, you're going to be in this.
Yeah, mine is what we just talked about a few minutes ago, stopping Lamar Jackson. That's what guys like JOK were drafted for when he fell to 52 to the Browns a few years ago, and everyone was excited. This is why, because he has the speed and athleticism. And now, and Casey and I talked about this on Wednesday, Grant Delpit too. You have either one of them, and one can sort of spy on Lamar, and the other can be in the field and meet Lamar somewhere. So I think so instead of it just being the defense stopping him, I think those 2 keying in on him is, like the sub from that. And just the defense stopping Lamar is the biggest thing, but those 2 players are going to be the key to doing that, I think, along with the pass rush, obviously. But now with a good defensive line, the linebackers are able to, look like linebackers in the NFL. And, they're not terrible linebackers. They're pretty good. So that right there is the matchup for me.
They better be pretty good. You only paid Roquan Smith $100 million. You better be pretty good at linebacker. Now you got some problems, man.
That's about the Browns. The Browns are linebacker now. You can play They can play linebacker, because before they wouldn't. As Casey said the other night on my show, they couldn't do anything because the runner's right there at them already, because it was just bad. That's
true. I heard that wrong. I was trying to make sure there was nothing like coming out we would have missed.
Oh no.
But yeah, trying to multitask, sometimes your mind slips a little bit. No, but I agree, dude. I think these linebackers, I've said it all year. A lot of us questioned why we didn't make any additions at linebacker. I was one of them. I'm like, why not go out and add someone to this group? Jim Schwartz believed in Anthony Walker, believed in Sione Takitaki, believed in the group that they have, and if you had the defensive line to keep players off of them, they were going to perform well. Mm-hmm. This linebacking core has been, again, okay, now let's say this defense itself has been the best in the NFL, so everyone's going to look good statistically. But these linebackers, Takitaki's having the best year of his career. Anthony Walker's having the best year of his career. And so is JOK. So maybe as fans, we need to just start trusting Jim Schwartz even more. Because maybe this guy knows a little bit more than we do. It's a shocking concept, I know.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's one of those things. See, we always get blinded by the fandom, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want people to think that like I'm bashing on, because there are times that where I'm like super fan. I'm just like, yeah, there's no way that's happening. Like, okay, and these guys have gotten to be able to play their position to the best of their abilities, and everyone's like, oh, we should have added that. Well, that's just not how it worked. And if Jim Schwartz says, hey, give me this defense here, I'll take it and we'll do something with it. Okay, through 3 weeks we've seen that. It's been coming up good so far, and I think it continues. I don't think this is, they're obviously on pace to be one of the best defenses ever. I think a few times they're going to get punched in the mouth, and they're going to give up, they're obviously going to give up plays. They're not going to allow, 10 points a game. It's going to happen, but the way that this offense is for the Ravens, I think it benefits the Browns defense because of all the playmakers they have, and they're all healthy. Like you said, they're healthy. When have we had a whole defensive room or defensive side of the ball healthy? Ever?
Never.
Yeah.
No, never.
I think seriously never is what I would say.
Because how many times, like you said last year, Casey, did we have the groin, the soft tissue, the hamstring? It's just like, give us a break, please.
Exactly. By the way, guys, drop your game predictions. We're about to give ours here very shortly, so just drop your game predictions below. We want to read some of them off. Right here, Amy Tora says, I got Ford and Hunt going today. I assume that's in fantasy. If that is, I wouldn't do that.
Get them going today.
Oh, get them going.
Key to the game. We just gave a key to the game.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's true. You do have to get them going today.
I don't know if I said that right. Amatora.
Great question, by the way. So, we did address this earlier, but how do you guys feel about DTR this week?
Well, at least they're going up against a depleted defense. They didn't like they're going up against – like if this happens in 2 weeks and this is the 49ers, then I don't feel great.
We lose by 20 if that's
right?
the case.
So the fact that it's the Ravens and the Ravens are as banged up as they are is best case scenario. And it wasn't last second. He's been practicing getting the reps all week. So they definitely have some sort of contingency game plan already in place. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what this looks like with DTR getting the snaps. I also wonder do we see some more of his familiar targets? Do we see more Cedric Tillman usage because he's used to him? I think that could be something to keep an eye on in this game.
And I would say this, too, about that. If that is the case, you almost wonder, and if Tillman looks good, if maybe you consider trading DPJ at the deadline. I would just something to keep. Hey, listen, I love DPJ. That's a conversation to have during the bye week, though, because that could be on the table. I'm saying it could be on the table because he's not going to be extended.
Right. That's the only reason I don't see it happening. A team's not going to trade for a rental of DPJ, and we all love DPJ, but that's not something a team's going to go out and be like, yeah, let me throw you a third or a fourth for DPJ, who might not even be back on our roster next year. It's a good. I do like the thought. I like where you're going with that, though. Like someone in the wide receiver room might be out, and it's not going to be Tillman, it's not going to be Bell, so DPJ would be that guy to, get rid of. I just don't know of teams that would trade for him.
It would take a contending team to have a injury, just like Gabe Davis in Buffalo or something like that, where a team would all of a sudden have a need for a player that can stretch and make plays on the boundary and do those things. But a lot could happen between now, because today's October 1st, trade deadline, October 31st. So a lot could happen between now and then.
Season.
Exactly. All right. Mitchell's got this, and then we are giving game predictions. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody's questions, but got to wrap things up here. Everybody's anytime TD score for each team. For Baltimore, I got Lamar. I think that's the safe one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a safe one.
For the Browns, I'm going with this one's tougher. I'm going to go with David Njoku today, though.
There we go. I'll take 2. I'll go Kareem Hunt. I think Kareem Hunt's going to get some goal line look. I think he's going to get in. And for the Ravens, just to not double up with what you said, I'll take Mark Andrews.
Okay.
Dang, taking both my picks. It's like we're drafting. Let's see. I'm going to go actually the opposite tight end, Isaiah Likely. I think that
I like it.
The Browns can take – I don't want to say take him out, but they can neutralize Andrews, and then that leaves Likely open. So I think he gets in for them. And I'm going to go I'm going to go Amari Cooper again. I think he can find the end zone. I think he can play well against this Ravens defense. So I think he crosses the line again, and hopefully he continues his streak of at least 7 receptions of the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Big NBA news, by the way, just broke. Trailblazers are trading Drew Holiday to the Celtics because.
Oh, come on.
I had to read it because we have 100 people watching. Some people might actually care about that. Man, that really makes me mad. Okay, we have 100 people watching. So first off, we're gonna give our game predictions. All I'm asking before we do that, just drop a like. If you guys all drop a like on this video, it really helps our YouTube algorithm grow, which is big for Network 216. Doesn't cost you anything to drop a like on the video. And again, subscribe if you're brand new. Completely free to subscribe as we're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. We gave away a Browns jersey at 2,000. Mm-hmm. I promise we'll do something for 3,000. That's just how we are. We want to give back to those that support us. So, again, drop a like. Very easy. If all you guys do that haven't done it yet, we have 107 people. It would really help us out a lot. So thank you. All right, Eddie, we're going to go with you first. Your game prediction, Browns and Ravens. What happens today?
God, I had to switch my prediction all the way up from this past Wednesday because I had it at like 27-13. And then on the dog chug, they convinced me to go 27-10. So I did it. Which if the Browns beat the Ravens today, I'll be chugging 2 beers on dog chug this Wednesday. But I'm gonna go Browns 23, Ravens 17.
Okay, all right, Casey, you're up, and then I'm gonna give mine.
This is going to be brutal. This is going to be one of those games. First quarter comes to an end 0-0. At half, it might be something like 10-7. I think the Browns pull this off, but I think it's ugly. I think they get to 20. I think it's 20-13 final score.
Okay. Okay. Oh man, I'm not kidding.
A lot of pressure.
Since this all went down with Watson not playing, I can't believe I'm saying I have thought Baltimore because I just think the quarterback. Listen, the Browns defense have been great. But that quarterback advantage is very significant that they have. It is. Oh man.
It's okay if you pick the Ravens, buddy. It's okay.
Dude, I know, dude. It's just I'm finding there's so many reasons to pick Baltimore and there's reasons to pick the Browns. But you know what? I'm gonna hope that this jinxes everything by us all not picking the Browns and the Browns win today. So I think Baltimore in this game, they have the advantage with Lamar. It's not going to be high scoring. I think Baltimore wins this game 17-10. It's going to be very painful to watch because it's just going to be brutal. It's going to be hard to watch this game today. Nothing again. And I don't think DTR is going to play bad. I just don't think he's going to do it enough. And I think in this game, the Ravens still have a good defense. They got some good players. I think they have to be able to do enough in this game to win. And so I do think the Ravens are going to win 17-10. And it's painful to say that because I can't stand Baltimore, not at all. And I'm sure I'm going to get roasted in the chat, so I'm not even going to look at it right now. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this Network 216 pregame show, Browns and Ravens. We will have post-game reactions as well coming later this evening, so you want to make sure you tune in for that. Again, we've had so many people like this video. Once again, drop that like. It's completely free. Help that algorithm grow for us. That helps as much as subscribers help. So, again, even if you don't want to subscribe to the channel yet, just drop a like on this video. 110 of you. Drop that like. If you're new and want to subscribe, we have a lot of great shows during the week for you guys to check out and weekly pregame shows as well, except next week because we're on a bye. Anything else you guys want to add before we sign off here and get ready for Browns and Ravens?
Yeah, shop at homage.com. Best shirts right now, 20% off of 3 items together. So Get 3
Love it.
shirts, get 20% off. And they always do. I don't know if a lot of people know this. They do a specific game or Browns geared shirt every home game, and then I don't know if it stays up there after that or if it goes away after that. I forget the actual details, but they're the cool one that, of course, Nick Carnes shared. So go check out Nick Carnes and find that link. It's a cool shirt. If you want to get that today, go do that. Homage.com.
Yep. Perfect. Casey, you got anything else you want to add?
In Jim Shorts we trust. Go Browns.
I love it.
In Jim Shorts. I was like, in Jim Shorts. Like
Jim Shorts.
Jim Shorts.
I was like, well, that's what I wear around the house. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys all on the next Network 216 pregame show in 2 weeks. Wait.
Yeah.
2 weeks. And as always, go Browns, baby.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns. All right.